Hello, everyone, and welcome to one of our favorite episodes, which is our Ask Us Anything episodes. This episode comes from us from our community. It's from people asking us questions in regards to anything for business, coaching, personal. This is your chance to be able to ask us questions and say, can you share with us insights after, Laura and I have been coaching now for over 17 years. We've been running this company. We've run it in every different capacity, from teaching fitness classes and workshops and retreats to at home systems, building DVD systems, and then now running certification programs and helping coaches become not only certified, but also build incredible businesses. And so all of our expertise and skills comes from not only that experience, but all the education and tools that we've received over the years. And we love being able to answer these questions and help aspiring coaches and coaches alike and people that are on their health journey be able to transform their health. So if you're ever wanting to submit any questions for our Ask Us Anything, which is a monthly live session, you can go to our Facebook community. You can join our community if you haven't already done so. You can check the show notes for the link to join that free Facebook community. But also, you can also submit your questions via email. You can email us info@fitchecks.ca, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you might be curious about. So I'm going to start off with our very first question. And our very first question comes from Chloe. And Chloe wants to know, she says, I want to start coaching, but I don't feel like an expert yet. How do I know I'm ready? It's a really, really good question, Chloe. I think when I think back to our journey, when I think back to Laura and myself, it's not almost like you don't really know that you're ready. You just become ready, if that makes sense. So we weren't really ready to take on a role as a coach. And we did have that self doubt when we first started teaching. We were like, one of my biggest fears was like, what if I really suck at this and like nobody comes back to my class? Like they show up once and they never come back. That was my fear, but I was like, I've got to get over that fear and I've got to go at it anyways, because I knew that this was the path I wanted to take. And how I knew that this was the path, when I first started, before we even started coaching other people, I got certified in yoga, and I got certified as an Ashtanga yoga teacher because I did it for my own journey. I didn't even do it with the intention of ever teaching. I actually had no idea I wanted to coach others or teach. I just knew that I wanted to improve my practice and I wanted to dive deeper into education and tools to be able to help me learn how to better my practice. And so by me doing that, I then started teaching my friends in our living room. So I remember they would come over after work. I would push away all the furniture like off to the sides because we had this little tiny living room, and I'd move the couch and the table and everything. And we'd lay out a few yoga mats. We had 4 yoga mats side by side. Everybody was like touching basically. And I would teach them yoga, and I would teach it with my own flair, my own style, my own approach. But I was just really excited about being able to share that. But most importantly, it was the feeling that I had after class. It was the feeling of looking at my friends and seeing that they came in feeling really drained, really like energetically just depleted or blah. And then they were leaving excited, energized. They were looking forward to the rest of their day because this energy shifted in them by them doing this practice with me. And that empowered feeling of knowing that I was able to help my friends change the way that they were feeling and the way that their day was going was the thing that really fueled my fire to become a coach. That was the thing that really said to me, like, yes, this is actually something I want to do. I always kind of felt like I wanted to coach others. I wasn't really sure about it. I went to post secondary school, got the corporate job, got the all of those things, but I didn't really know that this was the pathway until it became really apparent. That feeling that I had when I was coaching others and I saw how it transformed their day and their energy, that's what really helped me recognize, like, yeah, this is a path for us. This is a path that I really want to walk and I want to see what's possible. And we didn't know what was possible. Like, we had no idea what we were going to create when we started FitChicks back in 2008. And we've been running this company now for over 17 years. And we had no idea what was possible, but we just knew that we had to start. And, when you say, like, I'm not an expert yet, or I don't feel like an expert yet, how do I know I'm ready? You're ready by just tuning in. You've got to like listen to your inner voice. There is something that is guiding you, that is telling you that this is the pathway that you should walk. There is a reason why you're interested in health and fitness. There's a reason why you might be Googling all the recipes, checking out different workout programs, trying and testing all of these different like nutrition tools or supplements and all these things. You're curious about this because this is some part of your pathway, whether it be something you do full time or something you do part time as a passion project. whatever it is, but there's something inside of you that's guiding you down this pathway for a reason. So I always say, trust that voice, trust that judgment, tune into it, but start by getting certified. Your certification is what's going to give you the foundation. It's going to give you the skills, the confidence, and the tools. It should give you everything you need to feel confident stepping into that leadership role. And this leadership role as a coach is something not to be taken lightly, because this leadership role is, you are genuinely helping people transform their day, their energy, and potentially their health for the rest of their life. You are literally helping people transform. And by you doing that, you need to have the skills and the tools. And the confidence comes from practice. So when you say, like, I don't feel like an expert yet, you become an expert by doing, not by learning. So you learn the skills and tools, and then you start putting it into practice. And by putting it into practice, you become that expert. You become confident in your skill set by getting feedback from people that are taking the programs with you, or that are doing the workouts, or that are, following your plans. That's when you become more and more confident with your skills, but you have to put it into practice. That's why I was teaching my friends in my living room. That's why Laura and I used to teach fitness classes in the park with our friends after work. It was about putting it into practice. We were learning stuff, and then we were practicing it so that we could then hone in on those skills, so that when we showed up at that first class, we didn't feel like, oh gosh, what if I really suck at this? Because we'd already put it into practice so many times that we built that confidence muscle. That's why even in our certification programs, we have practical components built in. A lot of certifications just give you a lot of theory, but our certifications at FitChicks Academy always have some component of practical. We want you to have the practice in the program to then get feedback on that, to then enhance your skill set, but also help you build that confidence. That way, there, when you graduate, you're not like, a client wants to hire you, and the very first time they want to hire you, you're like, I've never done this before. We want you to have the confidence knowing that you've done this once, twice, three times, and you have feedback, and you now have the skill set, right? And you've already started to build on that confidence. So you become more ready as you continue to practice and learn and grow. So I don't think it's about this feeling or knowing that you're ready. It's about putting into practice, learning, and then putting into practice what you were learning to build that confidence muscle and get past the imposter syndrome. So I hope that helps, Chloe. And I hope this is, helpful for you to be able to move past that. But it was a really great question. So thank you so much for submitting it. Now, our second question on our Ask Us Anything, this one comes from Jennifer. Jennifer wants to know, what is one thing that you wish that you had done differently when you started your coaching business? That's really interesting, because when I look back at our journey, when we started our company back in 2008, Laura and myself, we kept our full-time jobs for a year and a half as we were building our business. So we started, um, our business on the side. We were working full-time, and we kept our full-time jobs for a year and a half while we slowly built our business, teaching classes just 2 nights per week. And then on the weekends, we were doing marketing and accounting and strategy and all these kinds of different things. And I don't regret any moment of that. I think that actually every single thing that we did in our business at that time was amazing, because we were learning all the skills. We were learning how to market, we were learning on the accounting side. Like, when you become an entrepreneur, you're not just like, I'm going to teach a class. When you're trying to grow and build a brand and a business, you become the accountant, the lawyer, the marketer, the salesperson, the programmer, the coach. Like, you're all of the hats, right? You've got to just keep flipping between them. And so I feel like by learning all those skills, though, it allowed for us to really step into the roles that we are in now. And we really have a deep understanding of how to, work in all parts of our business. It's not just like we only have one skill set. We know how to do all the pieces of the puzzle, which I don't regret at all. I think that that's something that really enhanced the way that we run our business. So I don't know if I would do any of that stuff differently. I think, if anything, the only thing that I would maybe do differently would be around social media. So we decided at a very early stage in our business that we would not really dive into organic traffic and just do paid traffic. Paid traffic meaning like ads, posters, flyers, Facebook ads, that kind of thing, Google ads, SEO searches, that stuff. And the reason why we decided that was because Laura and myself, like as co-owners of this company, we were just not really into social media. And I still can honestly say, like, I'm not someone who consumes social media. I'm not someone who's really into social media. So utilizing social media and building a brand on that didn't feel authentic to us. I think the only thing that I would do differently was probably just like dive into it earlier and try to have a balance between the two in our business versus just focusing on paid traffic. We've built our business. We built 2 7-figure companies with paid traffic, and it's amazing. And with a lot of referrals and a lot of returning students and students that, we're very, very blessed to have stay in our academy and take all of our programs. But it's really about, I probably would utilize that other channel of organic traffic and try to have more of a balanced approach to marketing so that we can then build that connection and that brand on an organic side and not just on the paid side. Now we feel like we're kind of backtracking sometimes, building the organic side because it is a focus of ours over this next couple of years. It's like a really big focus of ours, which is totally fine. But it just feels like we maybe did it a little bit backwards. So if anyone is listening right now, I definitely recommend, yeah, paid traffic for sure, but try to have a balance between the two. And if you haven't went in on organic traffic and if that's not been a focus of yours, or if you feel like those, same feelings we had of like, well, I just don't really use social media or I don't really like it, just know that it's just part of the job and you just got to do it anyways. So that would be my only thing that I would probably do differently is probably use social media as a tool in a much larger way from the very beginning, as opposed to starting it just a few years ago, really diving into it. But yeah, thanks so much, Jennifer, for that question. It's a really good question. And then our final question. This one here, it comes from Sarah and it says, if I only have 1 hour a day to build my coaching business, what should I focus on? Ooh, that's an interesting question because 1 hour a day doesn't feel like a lot of time, but if you have like a really focused energy on 1 hour, you can get a lot done. It's so funny because we always talk about, like Laura and I always talk about this idea that, if you have no timeline on it, it'll take however long, it'll just keep going and going a project, right? Which is why we have deadlines for every single one of our projects and we try to be aggressive with our deadlines. But if you have a deadline and you set a deadline and you set a specific timeline, you can oftentimes surprise yourself with how much you can actually get done. So if I was in your position right now, Sarah, and I was like, I have 1 hour a day to build my coaching business, what should I focus on? 1 hour a day means that I've got 5 to 7 hours a week, depending on if you're including weekends or not. And if I have that amount of time, I think the first things that I would focus on is the foundations. You have to build the foundations in place to be able to grow your business. The way I describe this is like if you're building a house, right? And I've never built a house, but I know that if I was going to build a house, I'm not going to put the walls up before I pour the foundation. You have to pour the foundation and then you put up the walls. And so the foundation is the key to anything growing and anything being built on. And so if I was focusing on building my coaching business right now and I had 1 hour a day, I would focus on my foundations. Foundations, things like I would focus on my branding, my mission, my values. I would focus on figuring out my niche, really understanding who it is that I'm targeting, figuring out my messaging to them so that I understand that everything I'm messaging to them is focused on problem and resolution. I would also really focus on building out systems because if I've got limited time and I have limited capacity to focus on my business, I need to have some smart systems in place that automate things like email systems, right? So I need to have some kind of an email system that will be like, once someone does something, it then automatically emails them. So I'm not have to manually email. When we started our business back in 2008, a lot of this stuff didn't exist. And so we were like manually doing everything. We were manually tracking stuff. We were tracking all of our locations, our registrations as they came in. We were writing them out on a spreadsheet, like we were typing everything out. Now everything can be like zapped and automated and all those kinds of things. So it saves so much time so that you can focus your time and energy because once you have systems and once you have a foundation, then your focus should automatically shift towards clients. You need to be able to take your energy and shift it towards what your clients actually need and supporting your clients, building your programming, and focusing on fulfillment, right? And even programming, I would also honestly say if you have limited capacity and limited time, look into those done for you programs, look into the done for you models and different systems that are already built, right? This is one of the things at Fitchix Academy, like we have a ton of different done for you models and programs, and we have done for you programming included in every one of our certifications, because we know a proven model and a system to be able to just replicate it in your business, as opposed to having to spend all the time and energy trying to figure out what you need and how to build it. That takes up so much time and energy. And so instead, you should just be focused on build the foundations, have everything in place, and then start focusing on your clients' services, right? So focus on fulfillment, focus on bringing in new clients. Um, so basically your marketing and then your fulfillment side. That should be where you're focusing your energy, because I also think that one of the things that happens in today's world, and not always, but often, is that customer care and customer service and customer support is really overlooked. And it's really unfortunate, because I think that is probably, it's like the most important piece of your business is how much you care about the people in your business, right? We love all of our people that come to our academy, that are part of our communities. We love them so much, and we try to give them so much love and support and attention and feedback, and, do different workshops and free seminars and all of these things to be able to share knowledge and support, because we want to make sure that we are giving back as much as possible energetically, because we know that, like, without providing a really good support system and a really good community, and without providing um, a really good service to your clients, then what is the point? You know what I mean? Like, why would they stay with you, and why would they want to continue with you? So instead, if you focus your energy on providing a really good customer experience, and if you provide a really good community and a foundation, it gives people a home. And that's what you want to create. You don't want to just create a business that just has one-off things. You want to create a home and a community, and you want to create it with people that you love, and that you love so much. Like, we always think about it like, if we were going to be trapped on a deserted island, like, we'd be totally cool with all the people in our community being there, because we love them so much, right? Like, and we just genuinely really like all of our people in our academy and in our community, that it would be a great experience, as opposed to it feeling like, I don't want anyone to ever leave our company feeling frustrated, feeling overwhelmed, feeling disappointed. And so if you're going to focus your energy, sorry, this is a big answer, but if you're going to focus your energy first, Sarah, on the foundations of your business, figuring out the foundations, the core foundations, then focus on building out systems so you can automate some of the things like email systems and sales processes and things like that. And then all of your energy needs to go on marketing. So bringing in new people into your world, but then really on servicing your people, and just build that connection, build that relationship, and just build that trust and love between all of you, because that's really what's going to be the foundation of your business. Without that, you don't have a business. And so, and if you're in this business too, and if you're in, like, I honestly believe that if you're in health and wellness and coaching, you're in this because you actually genuinely care and you want to help other people. And so, if that is like a goal of yours, and that's something that you genuinely are here for, then you want to make sure that you're providing the best service possible. Right. So, as a heart centered health coach, I just say provide the best service that you possibly can. Put your energy, pour your heart and your energy and your time into that, and we'll always pay you back in different ways, energetically, financially, and in all other areas. So, make that your biggest focus for your time blocks, and just block it out, and build the foundation first, though, because without a foundation, your business just doesn't have anything to grow on. So, foundation first. So, I hope that helps. That was it for today. Those were our live Q&A questions. Of course, if you have any other questions, if there's anything that you are curious about, that you're like, hey, I really want to know about business, about clients, about coaching, about anything at all, please be sure, drop us a line. You can either email us info@fitchix.ca, or you can join our Facebook community. And if you join our community, the link's down below this episode. But if you join our community, that is where you can also submit your questions live every single month. Thank you so much for everyone who's submitted the questions. Thank you so much for all of you who are part of our community, a part of our academy. And I hope you all have the most amazing, blessed day. And we will see you again next month for our live Ask Us Anything. Bye for now.